One of my associates just found out that she was dating a scammer, and she found out because our other friend who be, let's just say, like, she like the feds of the group, and so she be keeping up with stuff that we don't even know how she be keeping up with it. But like, she saw that his picture was like on like the little FBI thing or whatever, about scammers that had recently been arrested, and so she like sent it to us separately, like outside of the associate, and he's under the jail now. So she said I could tell the story finally. Anyway, so like my friend sent it, and she's like, "Do y'all know anything about this? Do y'all know anything about this?" And everybody's like, "No, no, no." She's like, "You know what? I'm gonna reach out to her directly because I feel like this would just be too shocking, like, to present her this information in this manner." So she called her up like, "Hey girl, like, how you doing? How's everything going?" Because like they're more so friends, right? That's why I said acquaintance associate. Anyway, though, they chatting on the phone, and she asked her, how is so and so doing? And she's like, "Oh, I think he's doing good." But what's weird is that like I haven't heard from him in like 2 days, which is not like him. And I've been calling him. I've called his family and stuff like that, and I haven't been able to reach him. But like, when I reached out to like some of his partners or whatever, they was like, like he'll reach out to you, but nobody's giving me no information. So she asked her, have you called around? Have you called like hospitals and stuff like that? Have you looked online? Da, da, da. Like, just trying to probe to see like what research, what investigation she's done on her own. She's like, yeah, like the first day or whatever, I went on to see like if he had gotten arrested or anything like that. I tried to look through, arrest records just to try to figure out what's going on. I did call hospitals like on the second day and stuff like that, but nothing. But I guess because he had been arrested late Friday, and she had checked like Saturday and Sunday, like, the system hadn't been updated yet. And she was checking the system on Monday. I'm talking about my friend, the investigator, the feds. To clarify, not the real feds, not the real feds at all. This is just her side, like, her side thing that she enjoys doing. But let me keep going. So Monday comes around and she's like, doing her usual browsing and stuff like that. And she come across this picture. She's like, oh, damn. And that's when she sent it to us. Like, do y'all know anything about this situation? So now that y'all had a backstory, let's go ahead and jump into, the rest of the conversation that they was having. So my friend, she was getting tired of kind of like tiptoeing around it. And so she tells the associate, we'll call her Jade just for the sake of this story. She tells Jade, she like, you know what? I hate to be the one to kind of like, break it to you or give you this information, but like he's been arrested. And she's like, what are you talking about? Like, and how do you know? And so she sent her the screenshot of what she had seen, which included his pictures and the charges. And let's just say when you look at the charges, it will tell you that, he was up there with the final bosses of fraud, like the hush puppies of the world. Well, long story short, he ends up reaching out to her and, she goes to visit him. They talk about it and everything like that. She tries to stick with him for a while, but, the relationship really doesn't end up going anywhere because he's going to be locked up for the foreseeable future. And of course, like someone in our friend group asked her, like, did you know? Like, did you know? And she was like, no, I had no idea. He told me he was in real estate. And the thing is, like, it made sense. Like, and I can kind of see from her vantage point how maybe she didn't know because it's like, he's a very like kind of proper guy. Like he goes to work every day. Like he was actually in real estate doing the work, at least, kind of going through the processes. And for anybody on the outside looking in, like it seemed like he was doing what he's supposed to be doing. Now, some of our other friends in the chat was like, no, that's not possible because, he was doing this, he was doing that, he was doing this, he was doing that. Like his money seemed a little funny. Like it never really fully made sense. Like even if you're bringing in that much money, like you're going to be more financially responsible than the way that he was spending the money. That's what some people was flagging. But I'm just like, I can understand that perspective as well. But I feel like when you're in it, when you're in the thick of it, sometimes, you just be having those goggles on and you just don't be seeing clearly. Especially when the life is near, it's chock. Like it is very easy for people to be blinded. But yeah, like I feel like just another example of like you just never know who you're dating. You just never know.